Riddle me this, Batman. If women don't like being objectified, then why does my girl get wet every time I tell her this pussy belongs to me? My name is Stirling Cooper. I'm an award-winning adult film star, former high-class male companion, and I'm here to help you improve your sex life. Modern society will tell you that women do not like to be objectified, but in my personal experience, it is something that really gets them off in the bedroom. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you the correct ways to objectify a woman. Let's start off by talking about the psychology of being quote-unquote objectified, right? What you're basically doing is validating her ego in a way. You're validating her sexual market value, right? You're validating her value as a woman. Because women, let's not beat about the bush, women are, for the most part, valued on their beauty. They're valued on their sexuality. It's their primary power in this world. That's why that's why men fly beautiful women out to party on their yachts, and they don't fly ugly women out to party on their yachts. It's the basic foundation of women's value is their beauty, their attractiveness, right? So you can make the argument that yes, men see women as sex objects. You can also make the counter argument that women see men as success objects. This is a perfectly valid interpretation of reality, in my opinion. And if you resist reality, it doesn't really help you. What's the old Ayn Rand quote? You can ignore reality all you want, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. So, we're dealing in reality here, people. Okay, so there is a deep part of female psychology that gets off on being sexually objectified. But here's the key part. Sexually objectified by a man she thinks is attractive and high value. That's important. When a woman walks past a construction site and some guy just wolf whistles her or whatever, catcalls her, that's a guy she doesn't know, who has no value to her, who isn't attractive to her. That's the kind of objectification that women complain about, and they, feminists kind of jump all over, right? That's not what we're going to be talking about in today's video. The kind of objectification that she gets off on, again, comes from a guy that she's attracted to and has value to her. So let's get stuck into some examples. Here's a fun one. Whenever you have your woman cooking for you, she's in the kitchen, getting busy, cooking for you, one of my favorite things to do, and I always make sure that she's wearing a dress or a skirt when she's cooking for me, is bend her over the counter and fuck her, not even to completion. Just bend her over and fuck her for 5 minutes while she's cooking for you, and then break it off and walk away. It's so psychologically objectifying for her to be sitting there putting her love and heart into cooking for you, and you come along and you treat her like this piece of meat. Again, a lot of this stuff in this video is going to sound really misogynistic, it's going to sound really bad, it's going to sound whatever. Feminists are probably going to hate it, but if you have a woman who loves you, if you have a woman who is actually attracted to you, and you do the things I'm going to teach you in this video, it's going to drive her nuts. She's going to love it. This is the kind of stuff that female fantasies are based upon. This idea of being taken. You'll hear women say that a lot, by the way. When they describe their fantasies and they get honest, when they're really being honest about their sexual fantasies, and especially when they're talking about what they would want, this celebrity or that guy that they're really attracted to do to them, it all comes back to this idea of being taken. And that fundamentally, again, is broken down to him treating her like a sexual object, quote, aka objectifying her. Here's another example you can use. When you are working at your desk from home, for example, you're sitting there busy, you're concentrating, have her come over, crawl on her hands and knees, get under the desk, and suck you off while you're working, right? You can actually play this into a fun little game of see if you can distract me from my work, right? Because you're challenging her, you're making her, she has to have good blowjob technique, right? To kind of distract you, to be doing it well enough to distract you from the thing you're working on, right? So this is a very fun little game. It's a dom-sub dynamic. And again, it's like the mental framework of this scenario is like you are here for daddy's sexual pleasure, right? And then, obviously, once she's done it, you tell her she is a good girl. And they fucking love being told they're a good girl. One of my personal favorite things to say to a woman in the bedroom when I'm fucking her is, this pussy belongs to me, right? You're taking her sexual core and claiming ownership over it. If that isn't objectification, I don't know what is. But that, every single time in my life that I have said that to a woman, her eyes have rolled in the back of her head and her pussy has gotten wetter. It's kind of so funny to me that all the things that we as men do in the bedroom to women that really get them off, really drive them wild, to get their juices flowing, are the exact opposite of what society tells you to do to a woman. The exact opposite kind of frames, mental frameworks and psychology of what society tells you to do with a woman outside the bedroom. Don't objectify women at all. They don't like it. Well, I'll tell you one thing. You tell her you own her pussy, she likes it. Another one of my favorites is to tell a woman that she is my naughty little fuck toy and I'm going to use her however I please, right? Again, these are things that are said during the act of sex, right? That is a fun sexual dynamic to add into the bedroom because it puts... Women fundamentally really like to please the men they're attracted to. This is part of the female ego. This ties into, again, this idea of her power is in her beauty and her sexuality, right? If she can't get her man off, that's kind of... It's like an affront to her ego. It's an affront to her value. But if she can get you off, she can get her man off, then that's appeasing to her ego. So by putting that little label on her, you're my naughty little fuck toy, I'm going to use you however I like, it allows her to go into this place sexually where she's like, yes, I get, use me, daddy, use me however you want, and I get to be the cause of your pleasure. You see where all this sort of ties in to, really, it all ties into like appeasing the female ego more than anything else. But what do I know? If you want to ratchet things up a little bit more, and you've got some patience, if you're a man with a lot of patience and you like to come home from work and relax and chill for a minute, here's something you can do. Find your favorite chair, enjoy a nice cigar, enjoy a glass of whiskey, and have your woman sitting patiently on her knees in the corner, waiting for you to finish your drink before she's allowed to come over and suck you off or fuck you or whatever it might be, right? The idea of making her be patient and making her wait for you, again, reinforces that idea of she's your naughty little fuck toy, you're going to use her however you want, she is your sexual object. Again, this is a very powerful sexual dynamic to implement in the bedroom. Another one of my personal favorite things to do in the bedroom is to use some of the furniture I have laying around the house. So I have a St. Andrew's cross, and I also have a BDSM horse. But the idea is, again, you're strapping her down to these pieces of furniture so she's prostrate in front of you and is basically just yours to do your bidding on. Obviously, you're doing this... I hate that I have to say this in every video I talk about this kind of extreme stuff, I have to reiterate that this is done consensually because there's some idiots on the internet somewhere running around thinking I'm not talking about consensual sex whenever I mention this sort of more extreme stuff. Obviously, I'm talking about consensual sex. But a BDSM horse and a St. Andrew's cross are a hell of a lot of fun to add into your sexual routine and add to your sex toy list, your sexual furniture. But it just leaves her there kind of helpless in a way. And here's the interesting part about like BDSM and restraints and bondage and you know, using these kind of pieces of furniture and stuff to strap her down so she can't go anywhere. Here's the beautiful thing about it all. Here's why it works. This is the psychology of it all, right? It all comes down to taking away responsibility. Women hate responsibility. As much as they will You know, feminists these days are running around and being like, women CEOs and bad boss bitch. They fucking hate, the average woman fucking hates having responsibility. She wants you to lead. She wants you to make the decisions. She wants you to be in control. And bondage, restraints, and BDSM and stuff, they play into that. If she's strapped down to a BDSM horse, she ain't going anywhere. You're in control. Everything that happens from that point onward is your responsibility. You made it happen, okay? And so she can sit back, relax. That's the other part of it. She can fundamentally just relax because she has no more responsibility. It's like, oh, daddy's got it. It's taken care of. Whew. A weight is lifted off her shoulders and she can really get into the moment. She can really get into the sex. If you happen to be a particularly kinky bastard and you engage in threesomes with your girl, one of my favorite things to do is to have her clean, like have your main girl clean your dick up after you've been fucking the other girl, right? So you might fuck her, maybe even jizz on her, or jizz on her, or whatever. And then she gets to come in and clean everything up, right? It's kind of a, again, it's objectifying, maybe it's a little bit degrading, a little bit humiliating, but look guys, this is the wonderful world of the female brain. These are the elements you want to play around with psychologically in the bedroom, because a lot of these are extremely arousing to women because they kind of reinforce, all of this stuff really reinforces that you are the dominant one, the high value one, and she is like looking up to you as the submissive. It kind of also reinforces her, if we think about it really, it reinforces her choices in you. If it's like a backwards rationalization thing. Oh, if I cleaned daddy's dick off after he jizzed in another girl, well then he must be high value. I must love him. I must be like mad head over the heels into him, because otherwise I wouldn't do that, right? It's this fun psychological backwards rationalization game that women play with damn near everything in their life. If you want to learn some more kinky shit you can do, then check out this video right here where I talk about the 3 fantasies that most women are into without even realizing it.